Hey friends, welcome back. This is week 2 of our Discover Transformation videos. And we believe that as we get these weekly investments of the Bible and Bible teaching and apply it to our life, that we will experience the fruit of growth and transformation in this process. So we invite you to journey along. There's a group chat, and we'd love to have your input and conversation as we go. So this week we're going to look at the topic of shame. Now, shame is something that we feel about when we feel like bad about ourselves or something that's happened or something that maybe's been done to us. We feel that human experience of shame. A while back I was looking through some old high school photos from yearbooks and things like that. And when I was in high school and junior high too, I wasn't as good looking as I am now. I had acne and I had zits on top of zits and mega zits on top of those zits. And man, whenever I went to school, I just felt like, I'm not very good looking. I'm not very put together. And I had a lot of issues with my body image. I felt a lot of shame. Shame's that experience that when we don't feel good about our body image or something that's happened or something, we just feel bad about ourselves, and we just want to kind of bury it and stick our head in the ground and not deal with life. So when we look at today at shame, we're also thinking too about this shame in culture that's happening. We have this shaming culture that's emerging where people, if they disagree with you or your opinion or it's not popular or it goes against the grain, you're kind of shamed into thinking what other people think. You have to go with that flow. Your social media is attacked, or your identity is attacked, your public image is attacked, and you're kind of shamed out of existence. So let's explore these ideas today and see what the Bible says about shame. So in the beginning, God creates the world. He brings order, he brings goodness, he brings life, and the pinnacle of his creation are human beings, and they're meant for relationship with God. Creation is meant to be in relationship with Creator, and in the beginning, God dwells and walks with man and woman, Adam and Eve, the first people. But what happens is when Adam and Eve, when they choose their own way, when they choose disobedience and turning to their way instead of God's way, it says that they hide. That Adam and Eve actually hide because they realize what they've done. They realize that they're naked, so they're feeling bad about themselves. And for the first time in history, shame enters the world. And so let's fast forward now to the New Testament when Jesus comes onto the scene. And we're going to look at the book of Hebrews chapter 12. And we're going to read verse 2. And this is from the New International Version. It says, "Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." Well, what I want to get to this morning with regards to shame is that through Jesus, his perfect life, and his death on the cross, and his resurrection, that sets us free from shame and sin and guilt. I want to focus on shame. So it sets us free from shame because through Jesus, when we put our faith and trust in him, we are restored to the full nature of that relationship with God. We're restored to the full image of God. We are made in God's image. Our fingerprints, God's fingerprints are on us as he made us, and we are meant to be in relationship and receive life from him. And so as we do that, shame is stripped away because on the cross, Jesus defeats shame by entering into the most shameful thing, a death upon a cross. And so really the key idea first is that God takes away our shame. We've all made mistakes. We've all felt bad about ourselves at one point in our life or other. But on the cross, Jesus takes our place, and he takes on the sin of the world and the shame of the world to restore us to life that we were meant to live, like the original Adam and Eve, but even better. And key idea number 2 is that our life in Jesus, when we trust in Him, it means that we recognize that we are all sinners, that we have all done wrong, and that we are no better than any other person. And so now this is going to speak to that second aspect of this shaming culture that's emerging, where we kind of shame people into thinking what we think, or we shame people out of existence if they disagree with us. Is that if I truly believe that my life is a gift of grace, and it's a gift that I don't deserve, and that God has just given me the second chance in life to walk with Him and be in relationship with Him, then therefore I have no right to shame anyone. Because as the Apostle Paul says in the New Testament, he believed he was the worst of sinners. Yet by his life we see amazing fruit and good spiritual fruit that happened. And so that's the mindset that we need to have and carry forward, is that we are no better. We are equal to our fellow humans, and we have no right to shame them into thinking a way that we think, or shame them because of something they've done, or shame them because of how they look. Is that we are all created in the image of God, that we are all equal before Him, and equally guilty of sin. My life, the next person's life, we are all guilty and need the cross to set us free from sin and shame. All right, so 2 discussion questions to leave you with today. We'd love to get your feedback through the group chat or just text me. We'd love to have some dialogue. So question number 1 is, where can you relate to the talk today? Where can you, maybe your junior high years were rough growing up, or just shame that you've experienced in other ways. We'd love to say, where can you relate to this talk today? It's very human. 2 is, how can you receive grace for yourself this week? Grace for yourself. And how can you pass that grace on? So receive that grace. God gives us grace. And how can we pass that on to our fellow humans? Would love your feedback. Would love to dialogue. Thanks for joining in this week.